Happy Hump Day, Lion Golf Academy members and guests. On occasion, I do get requests through email from our subscribers wanting my feedback on a video they saw on YouTube, and I encourage anybody to submit these to me because I think it helps grow your knowledge. So today we're going to be watching this video right here. It is a longer video, so I will go ahead and watch it right now with you, and you will see a trimmed down, cropped down version because I don't want to subject you to a 40-minute video. Nobody's got time for that. Nihongo o hano sao to shiteru kedu tabun kubi no nai ni watori mitai ni kikeoru kamo. Cameras because the sunlight's coming on. I want to give that big halo over my head. So just remember, this is a 26-minute video. You will see this edited out. If you want to go check out the full video, link will be in the description below. But other than that, let's get going and see.
Yeah. You can see straight away when I'm watching that. I've only watched 4 shots, but you can see straight away that the body action isn't working consistently enough.
No, definitely. You
so that's why you'll get manipulation. But the manipulation you'll see is really your forearm and your right wrist and your hand chasing through impact.
Absolutely.
But there's got to be a reason for that.
Yeah.
So I always say to the kids, I said, right, if a car breaks down on the motorway, do you just change the oil, change the windscreen wipers and change the tires? Yeah. No, you don't. Yeah. There's a problem in the engine, basically. Yeah. That's why it's broken down.
Yeah.
So you've got to sort that out. So when everybody has a lesson these days, a lot of the time it's changing the oil, changing the windscreen wiper. They're not really getting to the root of the problem. And the body action is obviously the key to it.
Now, I skipped through him just warming up session. Nobody wants to watch somebody warm up for a while, but so far this is making complete sense. I like the way he's talking about the body as the engine of the swing. I'm a huge believer of that. Too many times we focus on the hands and arms and trying to change positions when they're there to save the golf swing. So far, we're looking pretty good here.
You want your engine to work consistently.
Yeah.
Doesn't have to be perfect. Because we see a lot of different body actions in the top players, and they say, well, they still hit it, perfectly, yeah. But you've got to remember, they are the best manipulators in the world, and their body action is more consistent.
Yeah.
So what do we mean about, getting the body action right? Well, it's a power source as well. So that's why we talk about the spiral staircase.
Yeah.
The movement from the ground up to the top is really, really important. And obviously, when we're looking at a golf swing, we want the body action to be as consistent as possible, don't we?
Yeah.
So one of the ways for the average player to understand how we want consistent body action is to stand there with your feet together and create a movement into the feet where your feet are twisting one against the other. So your feet are doing that.
Yeah.
You're creating resistance in different directions. So my left foot's doing that, my right foot's doing that.
Yep.
Yeah. And then my ankles are twisting, my knees are twisting, my hips are twisting, my abs are twisting, but I'm twisting up.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to go up at the same time.
As opposed to
just turning.
Just turning round and round. Yeah.
I'm pulling up.
Yeah.
So at the same time, I've got a 3-dimension. I've got it around and up.
Yeah.
And my arms are spiraling up with me. And then from there, I can slam my arms down and move and stay in balance. And my center is always going to be more consistent.
You could see why he's the world's #1 coach. All this stuff just makes complete sense to me. Definitely an effective communicator. I like the way he uses his examples to kind of put it in layman's terms. And right now, this is so true what I'm hearing. Ground up, inside out. That's what I always look for golf swings. And I did one of these videos about a week ago where somebody's talking about 80% of the power is creating the arms and hands, and that is just not true. And here we have the world's #1 coach kind of emphasizing the same point. The body is the engine of the power. With rotation, with ground force, with using your body motions, that is where the power is created. You deliver the power with your hands and arms. Now, if you get in a position where your body's out of position, your hands will now have to make up for the missing positions of your body, and that is where you lose significant amount of power. So maybe there's a misunderstanding to say, well, if my arms are flailing too soon, I'm losing power, so maybe my arms do create the power. It's not the case. So far, this has been a great introduction to a lesson. It's communicated very well. I like his swing philosophy.
So it's a push-pull.
Yeah.
So in the golf swing,
a push to create the pull.
Yeah, to create the power, and it's almost, you can't almost see it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So in the golf swing, what we're trying to create is we're trying to create a push and a pull to get the body working in this direction, not in this. Because if I just turn I lose the connection with the ground, and that's why we call it the spiral. And
Yes.
you push and you pull, and you're working around your center, and your abs are working, your chest is working this way all the time.
And you can
then
see
that's how you get behind the ball properly. You get behind the ball in this way, not this way.
Yes.
Yeah. So you get behind the ball, and everybody can do it to their own ability.
Bingo, their own abilities. We're stuck with our own abilities, our God-given talent, our DNA. It is our limitations. And I want to just hit home on this whole footing that he's talking about. If you look at Greg Norman and you look at the way his feet through impact, he does the exact same thing what Pete is talking about. His feet work away from each other as he transfers that energy. So he's torquing his feet, and that torques your hips, and that opens everything up. And if you take a look at him post-impact, he's torquing so much that his right foot slips back and pulls back, where a lot of the amateurs that I do work with, they're going the other way. They're going this way where they collapse into the ball. So just looking at the way your feet move in the golf swing can really help you accentuate the storing and releasing the power the body creates.
People can't do it as much as others because they're not as mobile, or they can't stretch as much. But obviously what we're trying to achieve is a push and a pull, which is going to, like martial arts, push and pull, push and pull, push and pull. So I'm pushing at the same time. You can't see it, but I'm pushing that way, and I'm pulling with the hip, right? I'm pushing and pulling. I've got that. And I'm coiling up at the same time. And then from there, what I'm happening now is I'm pushing that back as I'm holding this millisecond. These are all exercises you do. You can't think about it in the golf.
No.
So you push, and then you pull with the glute and your hip. And then what you'll see is you'll always be planted in that left foot. And that left foot, I need it to be at least 10, 15 degrees out with the knee pointing in the same direction to give you the feeling that you're pushing against and pulling. So you get that. And then from there, you'll get what Sneed used to call his squat. So from here, I resist here, I push, I get the squat. But everybody tries to get the squat by...
I've seen that so many times.
Okay, so some good things there. He's talking about the correct motions. Now, just keep in mind, everybody just keep this in mind. And he said this as well, that you're limited to your ability and capability, which includes rotation. And a lot of us just are not able to get in some of these positions. And I know he's probably going to talk about it in this lesson, or if not, outside of the lesson, to give you some things to work on to get your body to stretch, to allow you to get these motions, because positions to me always create power. Power doesn't create positions. It's the other way around. You've got to think about getting yourself in good positions for you. That's the key. Some of you might need to flare your left foot open even more. Some of you don't need to flare your foot open. It really depends, again, on your capabilities and your limitations. So when you're watching these type of things, you're eavesdropping on somebody that has a lifetime of experience, and he's trying to bundle this all up to give the best information that he can to a blanket of you. So what he's probably trying to do is he's trying to show you, okay, this is what should occur in the golf swing. It doesn't mean that you got to go out there and run and do this exact thing, because the problem becomes now getting that feeling to transfer into what you believe is the correct position. So you always need to work with somebody. Now, it doesn't have to be Pete, because Pete's probably an arm and a leg, but there's a local PGA pro next to you in your neighborhood that can help you, because most of this stems from grip alignment, setup, posture. Ball position is huge. Posture is huge. Alignment is huge. If you're misaligning, you're going to compensate with your hands and arms to get that golf ball back to your target somehow, which then causes path issues, club face issues, speed issues, angular momentum issues. A lot of this can be cured working on your grip, alignment, your setup, posture, and never forget that ball position. Make sure it works for you.
So how would one go about working on this?
Well, there's exercises you do, and I like to see these aiming sticks are quite useful.
Right.
Yeah, but they're useful not only for aiming, but to give you the feeling of resistance in your legs. So what I do is I put the spiral in behind the knee, up the thigh, and then from there I'm pushing as I'm pulling. So I'm loading this stick, and you see how it's loaded? Yeah. And then from there I'm holding this as I'm pushing back. So I'm doubling the load.
So if you push back here, you've left that alone, that's creating even more flex in that stick, which is obviously going to create more snap.
And then from there, I do all the work with the pull, the glute, and the quad.
So you're pushing this, and then have you got the pull here?
Yeah, absolutely. Now I'm pulling it, it's almost identical, pulling it through to the finish.
So you've got the push here.
Yeah, but you're pushing. you're pushing again down, so your body action isn't as good as it should be.
Right. That's
So
that's why I'm here.
you need these you need these exercises to get that.
Yeah.
And what that does is, as you're pushing back and holding,
Yes.
your arms have got a room for them to get in position.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. If you've been watching my channel, what do I always talk about? Creating spacing for your hands and arms to just go down through. If you don't have the spacing, what happens? They run out of room, and what do you have to do? You've got to throw your hands, you've got to stand up, you got to create room, and the only way to do that is to do what? Remain in your posture, and the only way to do that is to what? Work on your motions that he's talking about. So this is gold. But please just do this with somebody near you. Don't go about and tinker on your own, because you'll probably ruin some more things. But this so far is just gold.
Yeah, you're not pulling all the way through with just the hip area, which your arms are then going to go away from you. As your arms are going to go away from you, your club's going to drop behind, and you're going to have to manipulate.
Yeah. And that's kind of what it feels like.
And then when we see players manipulating, we know that the chase has happened from the forearm and the shoulder. And that's why I talked about, spiraling the arm down.
Yeah.
Yeah, turning the arm down properly.
So for those of you who don't know how to look at where you're releasing the angle, look at your hand speed. As soon as your hand speed slows down, you are in the process of releasing that angle with your hands. Whenever one energy source goes from one lever to the other, that lever is going to slow down to release it, because now that club head is going to take over that momentum and move faster than your hands. So if you're having trouble recognizing, go to the top of your swing in slow motion from face on, go frame by frame, and as soon as you start seeing your hands lagging behind your body, 99 out of 100 times, you're already starting to throw. So then you have to ask yourself, okay, here's the area I am throwing. Why am I throwing in this area? Look at your posture, look at your weighting, look at your footing, look at the spacing between your hands and your body. If there's limited spacing, of course, your hands have to say, look, man, you want me to hit this little white ball? I've got this much room. The only way I can do it is this. I got to hit it. So don't blame your hands. Don't fix your hands. Fix this. Your hands are helping you.
Then we get that movement, but it obviously helps enormously if you've got good body action.
Yeah, because if the body's moving all over, almost the hands are doing you a favour.
You're in trouble.
Yeah.
But you've got to remember, most people are practicing that all the time.
Yeah.
Manipulation. So they have a great session manipulating, and I know when I come to my range here in Dubai and at home in Rotherham, Sheffield, where they come and say, I've got it.
Great academy.
Great facility, new facility, great. So when
you know what, man, you call that academy. What about this place? We got a beautiful 3 windows. We got this beautiful pen, and don't forget 1.618. It's coming out soon. $49.95, 8.5 by 11 to me. Playing table tennis.
When they come, they'll say, all right today, yeah, I found it today. I said, you'll have lost it by tomorrow. And they come back, he's right, I lost it.
That's so true.
So there's no consistency. So that's what I'm saying about the body action. It doesn't have to be perfect.
Yep.
It has to be consistent.
Okay.
And you can then match whatever you want, because
man, this guy's just, it's like I'm a parrot on his shoulder. I'm saying the same thing, and I'm charging you guys $0 for this info. I'm giving you help on Sundays for free. And he's saying the exact same thing that I'm doing. It's about developing consistency. It doesn't have to be consistently right, but if it's consistent, your hands and arms will learn how to use that consistent frame. Then you can decide, okay, if it's consistent and my hands and arms are doing this, and I want to improve by maybe holding my angle a bit longer, what do I need to change in this part of the swing to give them more stability and consistency to develop? Man, Twilight Zone.
there's only one common denominator I've seen with all great players when they're playing well.
Yeah.
And they all do it slightly different. The one common denominator is they all get it in the correct delivery position relative to the shot they're trying to do. So I'm moving this club into the position where I want to play the shot.
Yeah.
I'm moving it into position and holding position.
And you can see
shot.
here just how you've just beautifully looked after
yeah,
that
but
centre as
it's
well.
still working behind in this way.
Yeah.
So that's where you get a lot of the power. And then we start understanding ground force reaction, because I know when Paddy Harrington actually does his speed drills, he runs and stamps his ground, so he pushes the pull as hard as he can.
Yeah. Which
so
is why
he doesn't. He's getting out of the way.
Yeah.
He's pushing to a pull, and he doesn't push with that foot square because he's going to hurt his knee and his hip. So he pushes down with that foot open, so the knee can open, the hip can open, and then fire through. So we've got to get the body action right. So you get this, and let's show you whether you're getting the leg action right, which is the main part of the body action. Right. So you get it. You stand, set up that. That's it. Now, so I want you to go push and pull.
So and push this way.
That's it. And pull up. That's it. Pull up. But hold this position. That's it. Got it? Now you're loading. Can you feel the loading? Now hold that. Push. Push. That's it. That's it. Now you pull with your left glute. And then you stretch, rotate. That's it. So you stretch, rotate from the hip. And depending on what shot you want, you can stretch and obviously spiral up, which will give you a much higher flight, particularly with the driver, or you can just pull and just get your body covering it, which is going to control your ball.
Thank you, Tom. Tom was the guy who recommended it. Thank you, Tom. This is just so beautiful to watch and listen to, because this is just, I want everybody to go and get one of these little plastic rods. I can sell them to you, the Line Golf Academy version. It'll have my blood fingerprint on there. Obviously, it's going to be a couple $1,000s, so. But I recommend you go and get one of those plastic things, stick it between your legs, and go try this. And I promise you, a majority, myself included, don't follow this as best as we could. Now, if you can just work on this motion, it would probably solidify your body a lot better. You'll be using ground force reaction. Remember, how many are there? 19 that we have to use in the golf swing, and a majority of them start with the feet and they work through the body, but they're all created from the ground. You can't just be floating in space and just using your hands and arms. It just doesn't work. This is just like any athletic motion. And the clubs have just veered out to the max that we can get. So we got the best clubs in the market right now for us to make the average amateur hit the ball incredibly far, much further than we did 30, 40 years ago. So we've got the peak equipment. It's not like we're in baseball when they went from the lemon peel stitch baseball to the Infinity 8 baseball, which revolutionized the way people pitched. Like, we are at the top of our equipment. So don't blame the equipment too much. It is because of your lack of rotation and not using your footwork correctly.
Yeah. So this is the fit's almost just there.
That's it. That's it.
And then from there, leave that alone.
Leave it alone.
I'm going to
push this back where it came.
There?
No.
Oh, no.
You're locking me out, and I'm saying no. You push into the foot. That's it. You feel it? Got it? Now that's better.
Yeah. So
this starts working.
Yeah, I really feel my foot then is rather than just doing this. Yeah. Really feels like it's pushing.
And the stretch happens later. Push back and hold, and then now you stretch.
I really feel stretch there.
Yeah, and then you start working. That's it.
That's a lovely feeling.
Well, it's you can't think about it during a golf swing.
No.
So you've got to have done a lot of the work. And then people have said to me, well, you just look as though you could do it.
Hey, that right there is a bumper sticker I want you guys to get across. You can't think about most of this stuff in the golf swing. It should already be ingrained in you. The only way to get ingrained is how? What have I been saying for quite some time now? Less golf ball swing. You got to do range swings without golf balls, because once that golf ball comes in, it's going to bring out your old neurological system. So you can't just sit there and think, oh, I'm going to do this in about a bucket. It's never going to happen. You got to do this 3,000-4,000 times, some of you, without a golf ball to get that feeling. So when you go and hit a golf ball, you're just praying that your body is able to carry over some of those dry swings into your real swing. And you want to see how excited my dog is about all this. She's heard this about 3,000 times. You see that? That's how many times she's heard this.
Yeah. So here, got my setup, here in position. So I'm pushing and pulling. You see how I'm loading that?
Yeah.
I'm really loading. I'm doubling the load. And that's where you get the old Sam Seeds stretch.
Yes.
Yeah. And then from there, I'm pulling through as hard as I can. So it's an almost instantaneous pull and push.
Yeah.
So I'm pushing to pull.
Yeah. Such a great visual. And again, something that anybody can do
at home. As I said, if you stand here and do this and just, twist that foot that way and that foot that way as you're starting, and then twist against it, you can feel the resistance in your feet.
Yeah.
You feel that? And you're pulling up at the same time.
Yeah.
You're pulling up, and you get your arms up. That's it. Try and stay level while you're doing this exercise, and then slam them down and move to the finish. Then go to the finish. balance. That's it. You've done it.
Yeah.
So you've got that pull-push
Yeah.
in the simplest way.
So far, this is just, man, this is what makes YouTube give me hope, is you've actually got quality instructional video here given by somebody who has an established academy, who is well-renowned, who has the information, is a great communicator, can detail stuff without confusing the hell out of you. And this, man, this is just fantastic. So if you want to go see more detail, go look at that video, but I skipped ahead to the driver.
The driver, so
Yeah.
ball position, left heel.
Yeah, well, as I said, you know, it depends. If you want it to go a little bit higher, maybe on the instep.
Yeah. So there.
Yeah. So just move it a little bit. I mean, you know, when you flatten the flight, I like it just inside the heel.
I would prefer, when I'm working with somebody to ask me about ball position, I say, look, there's no universal way to put a golf ball. It's related to the center of your chest and your tilting of your spine, because you always want that golf ball to be at the bottom of your spine when you start to swing, because as you drive and tilt under, that golf ball will still favor that center point, maybe even a little bit further out, depending on stuff. But if you take a look at this swing here, on the right side of the screen, you can see the shoulder tilting, and you also see that spine angle. Notice his hands are driving right through the center of the spine, and then that golf ball is pretty close to where that spine angle met. So that's how I would prefer to talk to somebody when they ask about ball position. I don't just say, hey, put it on this, because if they're set up incorrectly, if they're aiming wrong and they put the ball position out there, they're going to get to that golf ball position by tilting too much or turning too much, and that's going to create some issues with their alignments and their posture as well.
As I wind it up here and I push it back and I pull through, now my spine's in the right place to get it going up
Yeah.
there.
Yes. Yes.
Or I can go wind it up and I pull and I let this left shoulder flatten a little bit, and I'm going through the ball a lot flatter and drive the ball
Just
a lot
for
more.
those watching, flattening, you're basically keeping it lower.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and the distance between here and here
Yeah.
is what dictates whether the body hits. So if I get the distance between here and here more consistent as I'm turning,
Yeah.
there,
Yep. That's the flat fight.
that's a flatter flight. If I get it more stretched
Stretch up.
up, that
Yeah.
gives me the deceleration, acceleration.
Yeah.
So
Dan-
I'm positioning my body through, and the club through my proper leg movement.
Yeah. And we were with Xander in California a couple months ago, and he was saying that one of the things that he did when he wants to launch it up is exactly what you just said, actually. He said he often, he doesn't like to have this.
No.
He likes to just go
Yeah, well, the distance there and there is wide.
wider, which gives him that.
Correct.
Yeah. Come on, we'll a couple of shots with this.
Go on then.
The elite.
Go on, work that body a little
So what they are talking about there is the arm length, creating a release pattern. So if you have a longer arm length at impact, it's going to have a different release pattern than if your arm is shorter at impact. Your release pattern is going to be slightly higher when you escape, and it just has to do with Gumby arms or gorilla arms.
back to the left knee, pull through and go. That's it, proper hit. Left the tee in the ground as well. Is more so
That's a great
there's more
shot.
consistency already.
Okay, so there's about 30 seconds left of this video. What you guys think about this video? Thank you for suggesting this, Tom. I really appreciate it, because this is just golden stuff. Great channel to watch. Definitely go give Danny a watch. And if Pete Cowen, I don't know if he has a YouTube channel or not, go subscribe to that guy. If he does, that'd be a godsend for you guys to watch, because he gives quality instruction. I totally agree with 100% of what he is saying. This is great stuff, and I'm so glad that at least he has some exposure on YouTube to help this dreaded YouTube rabbit hole. Hope that helps you guys. I'll see you hopefully tomorrow. Fairways and greens.